Hi Tri-State, welcome to Facebook Live Thursdays. If you've been following the page, you may have noticed that I said that Donnie Lester was going to be on Facebook Live. I may have inadvertently misled you. He's actually taking care of some business in Jeff City. So instead of Donnie, we still have Safety with us. We've got Leah Groom, and she's got a lot of good information to give to us today. So as always, if you're driving, please wait till you're not to watch this, and it will be available for a couple days on Facebook, and then it will also be available on our YouTube page. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it on over to Leah.
Good morning, everyone. And yes, this was a spur of the moment for me, so we're going to see what we can come up with. As everyone knows, we switched everything over to the ELDs back in December. December 16th was the cutoff date for the DOT ELD mandate, and we managed to make it in time. And as we trained everybody on the phone, everybody that came in, we gave them all the information they needed, and we weren't making any of it up. We told you there would be a lot of drastic changes that you weren't used to. Number one, your personal conveyance. You have to make sure you pick personal conveyance if you're going to use it. It will not automatically keep you there either once you stop and set the brake and start driving again. So you've got to remember to check it every time you get ready to take off. We have had several drivers that have lost their brakes. They've lost their 34-hour restarts because it's put drive time right in the middle of it. And like we told you when we were training you guys and when we were setting everything up, we can't fix that for you. So if you're 24 hours into a 34-hour restart, you accidentally put the truck in gear, forget to hit the personal conveyance, you might have used 10 seconds. And that 10 seconds messed up your brake and you have to start over. And unfortunately, it's just something we've got, it's hard, it's a hard lesson to learn, and we're all dealing with it. And that has been our biggest call since all this has started. You just got to be, very careful in how you're logging and making sure you pay attention to what line you've got that on, what status you have yourself in. We've had instances where drivers have said that they've been using personal conveyance. They stop and then they take off. Say they stop to let someone by or something like that, and they take off again, and they say that it automatically puts them in the drive line. Yes, we're finding that, but we're also finding that the drivers have set their brake in between. And so that starts it over. So you've got to make sure you set it again. Put it in personal conveyance. The same goes for yard move. If you're using yard move, you have to be in a gated facility and you have to stay under 20 miles an hour. If you exceed the 20 miles an hour, it's going to put you on drive. And again, if you stop, you get back in and you take off, you've got to put it in yard move again. You just have to be really, really careful with it. And when we say we can't change things for you as far as drive goes, we can't. They have completely taken that capability away. We can switch drive time from a driver to another driver, or if you put the truck in the shop and you forget to log out of it, we can put it from the driver to a mechanic. But it has to be assigned to someone. We can't just take it away, shorten it. We have to assign it to somebody driving that vehicle. And if the Qualcomm says that you drove, it moved, it moved. So just be really, really careful with that. When we were training everyone and telling everyone what you had to have, the main thing you had to make sure you had was your DOT reference card. We handed these out. We emailed them out to those that couldn't get them. We've overnighted them to truck stops, to your home, because you have to have this one in your truck. If you have the old one in your truck, it is not good anymore. You have to have the one that says the Omnitrax ELD reference card, the cab card. It has the inspector mode on how the DOT officer can go through your logs. They can send their logs to them. They can send your logs to them. You should know how to do that also. It has a malfunction and diagnostic chart on it. You have to have that all in addition to the cab card, but Omnitrax has put it all on one. You also, Vonda had talked about, I believe last week, about you have to know where your training manual is, and that is on your Qualcomm. It's MCP training. You just go into it, hit hours of service, and that is your training manual for the hours of service, and it is required. Drivers that are getting DOT, they are being asked for it. and they will write you up if you do not have or know where it is. So make sure you're familiar with the Qualcomm, you know where different things are on it, and be prepared to present it to a DOT officer if asked. Another thing, we've had some issues lately. You've got to make sure anytime you go into Canada, you switch to Canadian logs. When you go to get to the border, you do a border crossing, and this is found in the clock tab. So you're going to hours of service, you go to clock, you're going to pick border crossing. It's going to ask you if you want to make a border crossing. You hit yes or no. So you'll hit yes, then you'll go to region, and you will pick Canadian Main. So you need to be on Canadian logs when you're in Canada, and then when you come back across the border, you will do the complete opposite. You'll do a border crossing, and then you'll switch yourself back to US logs. Just be careful that you are in compliance with whichever rule that you're falling under at the time. So just make sure that when you cross back over to the US, and if you've been driving or working more than that 8 hours, you have your 30-minute break in. While you're in Canada, it will not ask you for a 30-minute break. It will not count down for that. So you just have to make sure that you are in compliance when you cross back over. We have had a lot of calls with the new ELDs, and that, I mean, I wish it was easier than what it is, and I wish it wasn't. It's a lot of frustration. It really, really is. And I mean, we put it off until we actually had to switch over to it. It's not something the company has decided that these are the new ways. It is actually a DOT mandate. You are finding that you're getting maybe a bunch of malfunctions, ELD malfunctions. If you are getting those, the alerts don't go away. You can call in and we can get you over to Kay. She can research them, and a lot of them we are being able to clear out of there. Some of them we can't. They stay there for the previous 7 to 8 days, just depending on what it is. But it is it's been very trying, and it has been very frustrating, and we just have to learn to go with what it is. Like I said, we get calls daily, and there's a lot of times we just have to tell you guys, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. But if you have any questions, if there's anything in particular that you have any questions about, make sure call us, call myself, call Jeannie, send us email, whatever you'd like. But we are here to help you, and we will do everything that we can. Anyway, have a great day.